What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Rake and Profit, rakeandprofit.com, coming back to you guys with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to make your first $1,000 a month selling books on Amazon FBA. So I have a bunch of notes here, guys, that I'm going to be going over, some questions that you guys asked in the comments on some of the previous book videos. And also I'm going to be going through some of the most important steps when it comes to, starting off brand new, you have no idea how to sell books on Amazon, to kind of going through the process of setting things up, finding books, shipping them in, analyzing deals, and, rinsing and repeating, because that's the goal. You want to be able to go out there and find these books, make money, and do it over and over again. Now, I want to share with you guys a really cool story. I just got a text from my mother a couple hours ago. And if you guys don't know, I actually got my mother into selling books on Amazon probably about 5 years ago. And believe it or not, for the folks who know me, you guys know Mama Profits, but believe it or not, my mother, she was the last person I would ever imagine to get into selling books. Like, she hates learning new things about technology, and she doesn't know anything about the internet. And to fast forward 5 years later, she's making anywhere between $1,000 to $3,000 a month. I think she's been averaging around $3,000 per month over the last couple of months. She's really starting to scale up over the years, and she does it part-time. She goes up to the thrift stores, maybe once, twice a day for a half hour or so. And it's fun. She's not trying to set world records. She's retired and she's just supplementing her income. But I got a text from her today. Let me see if I could find that for you guys and read it off. Okay, here it is. So she goes off to Savers again. This was at 11 in the morning. And she messaged me at 11:38, 38 minutes later. And she goes, "At Savers, I'm guessing I made over $200, but I'll let you know." So I was at Starbucks at the time, and I'm like, holy crap. Because she was just there the other day and she crushed it, made $150. If you guys saw my video, I shared an Instagram post with her in the thrift store. It was pretty cool. But today she went there and she absolutely murdered it. She estimated that she made about $260 profit. And she did. She actually sent me a book that she found. I'll actually share it with you guys right now. Let me just open up my Facebook. And I like to share these stories because it's, it lets you know that this is real. Like, people are actually doing this and making money selling books. It's not, something that is like some pipe dream and some big scam, or it's like taking surveys on the internet. Like, can people actually make money doing it? Yes, people are doing it. Of all walks of life. So she found a book. I'm actually not going to probably show you the exact one because people are crazy on the internet and then they hunt your account down, and either way, it's a book that has to do with neuroanatomy, right? I don't even really know what that is. I guess it has something to do with your brain. And it was 14,000 rank, had over 200 feedback, and the lowest used price was $87.18 with a 14,000 rank. So that book's going to sell like hotcakes. So she paid $3. After all said and done, she's going to make about $63 profit on that one book. So there's definitely money to be made out there, guys. And I know I'm always bragging and boasting about my mother, but I'm super proud of her because, if she could do it, anybody can do it. If I've been able to do it, anybody can do it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take years of experience. There's definitely money to be made selling books. So we got Flippin' Picker in the comments saying, "Sold my first book yesterday." So congratulations, everybody. Say congratulations, Flipping, in the comments. We got Eric P in the house. Tran Dela Cruz saying, "Thank you so much for the inspirational videos." Awesome. Awesome. We got Resale Dude saying, "Rake in." What's going on, Resale Dude? Maria saying hi from Louisiana. Good to see you, Maria. 27 Zach Mac Leah. I think that's your name. I like that name. Greetings from Pittsburgh. So you're definitely feeling the East Coast chills, but although I hear it's supposed to get warmer over here. Carissa Powell, good to see you, Carissa. Kevin. So if you guys have any questions about selling books on Amazon, I've been doing it for over 5 years. And, I've used books to kind of supplement my income. Now, in the past, there's been times where I was going full force with it. But I sell a lot of clothing on eBay. I sell a lot of books. I'm now doing private label, Shopify, YouTube. So I'm kind of all over the place. But there was a time where books was the only thing I did. And I'm really good at it. I'm really, really good at books, and I enjoy it, and it's fun. And I want to help you guys out. If you're looking to make your first $1,000 on Amazon, books are one of the greatest ways to do it. Now, it's going to take some time, definitely a learning curve to it. But you know, the reason why I loved clothing so much on eBay, if you guys follow me from the early days, I was big into clothing and I still love clothing. And it's because it was so abundant. Like there's clothes everywhere. And when you find an abundance of a specific type of inventory, things fall through the cracks and there's a lot of opportunities. So it's very similar to books, to clothing, books. Like Amazon, I love books. eBay, I love clothing. So I've got a bunch of questions that I'm going to answer, guys. I want to know in the comments, do you guys want me to answer some questions first, or would you prefer me to go through the 6 steps to kind of getting started as a beginner and cover some of like the beginner stuff in terms of like setting up your account, how to scan and analyze books, some of the supplies you need, you know, analyzing deals, shipping to FBA, or do you guys want me to answer questions? So let me know in the comments right now. Type a 1 if you guys want me to answer questions, and type a 2 if you want me to go through some of these beginner processes. So let me just moderate the feed a little bit. Got some funny guys in there. So I'm just looking. We got 1s and 2s. Oh man, you guys are making it tough for me. Someone asks, is it okay to use an inkjet printer for labels? It is. I prefer using a laser printer. Brother laser printers are really good. Why? They're much quicker and they're a lot cheaper to use toner versus the ink. You can use an inkjet, but I'd recommend getting a Brother laser printer. If you go over to my website, rakeandprofit.com, under tools, I think I have a couple that I recommend that are really good. All right, cool. So there's a lot of 2s. So let's bang out some of the beginner stuff, guys, maybe 5-10 minutes, and we'll go through and answer all your questions, guys. I'll be 100% transparent, open book, answer all your questions. So first thing you're going to need to do, if you're starting like brand new and you've never sold a book before, like you don't even have an account, you're going to have to go over to Amazon. You're going to have to sign up for an account. Now you're going to have 2 options. You're going to be able to sign up for the free basic account, or you're going to be able to sign up for the professional account. So essentially the basic account, which is free, it charges you an extra $1 every time you sell an item. And with the pro account, once you go over 40, if you sell more than 40 items, you actually save money. So if you're brand new, I would just start with the basic account and get hit with that extra $1 fee because it's going to make the most sense for you. So go over to Amazon, FBA, create an Amazon seller account, sign up for it, you know, put in your credit card, your banking, all your information, get set up. It's really easy. There's tons of tutorials out there. So that's step number 1. Once you have your account set up, the next thing you're going to want to do, I'd recommend getting a scanning app. Now there's a bunch of different apps that you can use out there to scan. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, books have barcodes on the back, and there's different applications that are available. I use the Amazon seller app for the most part. And there's a bunch of other ones that I used to use, but now I just use this because I'm not doing it like 50 hours a week. So if you're more lower volume, just getting started, download the Amazon seller app on your cell phone. And I'm actually going to open that up right now. And what this app allows you to do is when you open it up, you see the scanning functionality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to scan the book. Now, when I scan the book, you're going to be able to see, you're probably not going to be able to see it because I'm on a webcam, but it's going to bring up the title of the book. This is actually a book that I'm reading right now by Stephen R. Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Really, really good stuff. But it's going to give me some information. It's going to share with me the rank, right? And if you're wondering what's the rank, it's essentially a number that's assigned to a book, and it's a moving number. The number is moving based on sales velocity. So it's a number that's assigned to the book that is an indicator of how fast or slow the book is selling. So there's a rank per category. You're also going to get the some information on how many people selling it as a merchant, which means they're fulfilling the orders themselves. How many people are selling it as an FBA seller, which means the sellers are sending it out to the warehouses and then Amazon's picking, packing, and shipping. Profits. You're going to get to see the reviews. Like this has over almost 5,000 reviews and a bunch of information, new, used. So I'm not going to get into how to analyze right now, but you're going to need to get the Amazon seller app because the Amazon seller app is essentially going to give you the information you need to make a decision if you should buy or if you should pass on the book. So this is very beginner stuff. There's other applications out there that will set up like little noises and sounds and give you better indicators if you're doing like high volume. But this is just very, very beginner. This is what I use, guys. I highly recommend it. The Amazon Seller app. Hey, Flippin' Profit coming in with a $5 super chat. Definitely appreciate that. So step one, set up an Amazon account. Really easy, guys. Tons of videos. Just do it. It's not hard. Number two, download the Amazon Seller app. It is free. People asked previously, do you need a professional account to have the Amazon Seller app? I don't think you do. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but download the Amazon Seller app and start playing around with it. Start getting some books. I mean, I have so many books that I'm actually reading right now. Rich Dads Retire Young. Here's John C. Maxwell, How Successful People Think. I'm a big reader, so a lot of times I'll pick these things up and then resell them. So that's step number two, the Amazon Seller app. The third thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get some supplies. So you might be thinking, what supplies do I need when I'm first getting started selling books on Amazon? So let's just say that you're going to be a bookseller that utilizes the FBA program. That means you're going to ship it into Amazon's warehouses. They're going to fulfill the orders for you. And we're not going to go into super depth in terms of why, but it's, for me, it's a more scalable way to go about things. You can typically make more money. So we're going to say that you're going to go the Amazon FBA route. A couple things you're going to need is a barcode scanner. So this is a little scanner that you plug in to your computer, USB, and it's handheld, kind of like at the libraries when they scan into books. When you scan the back of the barcode, it's going to put all the information into your software. So I actually use Inventory Lab, which is a great software. It is about $50 a month. Or you could just use Amazon itself when you're actually listing the books. So you're going to want to get a barcode scanner. You're going to need to get some boxes. I like to use 16 by 15 by 15 boxes. And sometimes I go to Home Depot, Lowe's. If you're a dumpster diver, you can go behind like different warehouses and get the boxes for free. But I like that size 16 by 15 by 15 because I could usually fit like 20 to 30 books depending on hardcover, softcover, or if there's a lot of textbooks in those boxes. You're going to need to get some shipping tape. You're going to need some Scotty peelers. So Scotty peelers, look those up on Amazon. They're these little kind of like long, little thin things that get the stickers off the books. Because when you go to Goodwill, Salvation Army, they're going to put all those stickers on the books, and it's really annoying to like peel it off with your finger. So definitely get some Scotty peelers. You're going to need some labels. So there's actually labels that you're going to put over the barcode. It's called an FN skew. And I believe they're 1 inch by 2 5/8. You can get Avery, you can get generics. But when you go to print out your shipping, like for example, when you go to list your items, you're going to have to put a label on the back of each one if you opt into that. And you're going to definitely need some of those. You can also get some adhesive labels for the outside of your box when you're shipping it to the fulfillment centers. And those are pretty much a lot of the basic things. You know, some people use Goo Gone to help get the adhesive sticker stuff off the books. But those are pretty much like the basic things you need. You don't need a ton of money. Like obviously you're going to need a computer. You're going to need a printer. I'd recommend a laser printer. But those are some of the basic supplies that you're going to need. Now, where do you go to get books? A lot of people are curious. Like, Steve, I want to get into the book business, but I'm not really sure where do I go to source books. So some of the best places to go, number one, thrift stores. Goodwill, Salvation Army. You can go to little mom and pop thrift stores. Those are good because there's typically not a ton of competition. Church sales are really good. Library sales are really good as well. And garage sales. So those are pretty much like my top ways to acquire books. Also, another great way is Litgo or Craigslist. Those are some good places. I've heard of some people having success going onto the Facebook marketplace in their general area within their town. And sometimes people just give away a ton of books, or maybe a student is just selling like 10 books from like her previous semester for like a couple $100 and you can sell them for $500 or $600. So those are some of the basic ways to acquire books. Now, how do you analyze books? So let's just say you're at the thrift store and man, I'm surrounded by books. A lot of these actually aren't worth money, but I'm like a really, really big reader. Say you're in a thrift store and you're trying to figure out like what to buy. Like this is your first time doing it. Like it's overwhelming. Like, trust me, I get it. It was really overwhelming at first. So again, you want to download the Amazon Seller app. That's going to be the tool that's going to allow you to analyze. So you're going to start looking around at different books. Where do you want to focus on? I would first and foremost focus on textbooks. Textbooks are usually going to sell for the most money. So for example, my mother today, she made about $260 profit going to Savers for about 30, 40 minutes. And the majority of her profits, probably 70% of them, came from textbooks. So you can get textbooks that are based around mathematics, science, English, literature, social studies, medical books, all types of textbooks. Those are the ones that are going to typically do the best. So if you see any textbooks, I would gravitate to them first. And more specifically, look for textbooks that don't look super outdated. A lot of times you can look at a textbook and you'll think to yourself, like, this looks like it came from like the early or the late 90s or early 2000s. You want to stay away from those. And it's kind of hard to explain in words, but you'll get the feel for it. If like anyone's a bookseller in the comments, you guys know what I mean when you pick up a textbook and you're like, this thing like just looks and feels like money. Like it just seems current, seems new. Sometimes there's a date. Or sometimes as well, it'll say like 12th, 13th, 14th edition. Those are really good. A lot of times those are like somewhat newer. Zachary's asking, is there a best subject that sells? And to answer that, you know, I don't want to just give you guys a fish. Like, I don't want you guys to go to the lake and I don't want to throw fish in your boat. I want to teach you the real way to do it. And the real way isn't to worry about subject matter, right? Weird books, odd books, textbooks, mathematics, social studies, science, chemistry. Like those are like bread and butter. Like you want to look for those. But in general, use this app. Use the Amazon seller app that I'm teaching you guys about to do the work for you. This is where the magic happens. So let's say, for example, actually, let me give you a good example because I know this one's worth a little money. Let's say books are $3 at your thrift store. At Savers, that's what they're asking. Goodwill, they're usually $1 or $2 in my area. But let's just say you come across this Arnold Schwarzenegger book, which I actually found at Savers a couple months back just for myself. I'm trying to get swole. So I ended up popping on this for $3. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take out the Amazon seller app and you're going to want to scan it. It's like a little barcode scanner. And I don't have good light right now. So sometimes I have to like adjust it to get the lighting good. But anyways, I scanned it. Now, the first thing I am going to see is I'm going to see multiple listings for the same book. Now, the first book just shows the picture. And then the second one shows the picture and it says restricted. The third one shows the picture and it says restricted. You ever wondered why you scan a book and there's like multiple listings? Well, the thing is, when you're an Amazon seller, you can actually create your own listing. So what some people do is they're not happy with the current listing. So they actually go in and they create a new listing. They upload a new photo or a similar photo and change things up. Sometimes people screw up the listings and they put like too heavy of a weight. So the fees are actually off. There's a lot of different reasons, but it's typically for optimization. So you want to make sure to find the listing that is the lowest rank. The lowest rank is the one that's selling the best. Also, you want to make sure that it's not restricted. If it is restricted, it'll either have a red bar. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if it shows it on here. Yeah, it's too bright, but you might be able to see it. It's right over here. It's got this little red mark saying restricted. If it says restricted, you can't sell it. Also, if you click into the book, sometimes it'll actually give you it has a little thing called selling eligibility, and it says you can sell this product in used condition, and it also says you can sell it in new condition. So you always want to double check that as well if you're using the Amazon seller app. But here's a couple things, guys, you want to keep in mind. I'm gonna fly through this. You want to consider the rank. Like I said, the rank is an indicator of sales velocity. What rank should I focus on? If you're new, I would say under 1 million rank. Because once you go over 1 million rank, you've got to kind of understand things a little more. So as a general rule of concept, under 1 million rank, I would focus on that. Can you go over? Yes. We actually picked up a couple 3 and 4 million ranked books the other day. They were all about like, I think it was like the Vietnam War, and it was really weird, odd stuff. There weren't a lot of sellers, and the price was at like 50 or 60 for like $2 buy-in. So we took a risk. But in general, I would stick to under 1 million rank, and that's going to just be like a better place to start. What's a really, really good rank? I would say under 500,000 is a good solid rank. Under 200,000, you're in the money. Anything under 100,000, that's me clapping because I'm excited because I know I'm going to make some money and it's going to probably turn over pretty quickly. This is actually a 2,000 rank. So if I was to ship this into Amazon, I wouldn't be surprised if it sold probably within like maybe a couple minutes or that day. So rank is important. Another thing you want to look at are the reviews. So when you scan something in the top right-hand corner, there's going to be reviews. This has 1,290 reviews, 5-star. Why are reviews important? Because that's social proof. The better the reviews, the more social proof is behind it, and the better experience people are having when they purchase the book. It just is an indicator of interest and the value that the market is perceiving. Now let's talk about the most important things you guys want to look at. Considering you're an Amazon FBA seller, or even if you're a merch seller, you want to look at the prices for that market. The merch market, selling as a merchant, fulfilling from your home, versus FBA are two completely different markets. You do want to take a look at what merchants are selling it for, but you don't want to compete with them. So for example, this book right here, and let me change my settings because my screen keeps going off. Bear with me for one moment. Okay, cool. So for this book right here, the merchants are selling it for $12. But I see the FBA sellers are selling it for $17. So I'm going to price it probably around $17 or maybe a little higher depending on my condition. I'm not going to price it against the merchants because it's a different market. People are willing to pay more money for an FBA seller's item over merch for a couple different reasons, but mostly because of that Prime free 2-day shipping. So that's important, guys. And on the Amazon seller app, it's going to tell you what the profits are. So you can actually click into it. So if I got this book for $3 and I sold it for $17, it would be $11.49 in fees. Oh, that's disgusting. Why is it so high? The fees are definitely high on Amazon, but it's high, really high because it's super freaking heavy. And the warehouse fees are just through the roof. So after the Amazon FBA fees, and then after so there's a little part in the app that actually will take money off for an estimated shipping fee. For me to ship this into Amazon, it's probably going to cost between 50 cents to $1 when I put it in a box of like 20 or 30 items. So you also want to take that off as well. And then in the app, you could also put the cost of goods in. So after the Amazon fees, after the shipping fees to Amazon, and after my buy-in cost, if I paid $3, I would only make $2 on this. So would I buy it? It's going to depend. If I was a high volume seller and I was selling a lot of books and listing a lot of books, I would do it. But I probably wouldn't do it like right now personally, because I like to focus on books that sell for at least $8, $10, $15, $20. If it's a really small, like little tiny book like this, and it's going to make me an easy $4 profit and it's a low rank, I'll do it. But for something big like this and it's heavy, and I know the shipping charges might be heavier, like the warehouse fees and like the long-term storage fees are going to be they're going to be really crappy for this. I wouldn't mess with it. So you want to make sure your profit margins are good. I like to focus on books that sell for at least $5, $10 profit at the end of the day. And again, I like to stick with books that are under $1 million rank. Once I go over $1 million rank, I'm going to try to find profits at around $20, $30, $40. And, you know, the bread and butter books are the textbooks that are, you know, selling for 30, 40, 50 bucks, and you pay $3, make 20, 30, $40 profit on it. So in terms of other things that I'm going to be analyzing, again, the rank, the amount of reviews, the competition as well is something important to look at, because the more Amazon FBA sellers there are, or the more merchants, depending on what market you're selling in, the more likely there's going to be a price war if the rank isn't very low. So since this is a 2000 rank, I would say that there's a lot more demand versus supply. So as much as the sellers want to fight with each other, there's going to be too many people who want to buy. So the price isn't going to tank too much. If this was ranked at like 2 or 3 million and there was like 50 or 60 sellers, there's a good chance the price could tank over a short period of time just because of that. So you want to look at the number of sellers. You want to look at your profit margins. You want to look at the rank. You want to look at the reviews is something to consider as well. And some people, they ask, Steve, should I buy a book if it doesn't have a rank or if it doesn't have any reviews? For the most part, no. The only exception would be is if it's like by a famous author, or if there's like, you're the only seller and it's selling for like 70 or 80 bucks, you can actually use a site called Camel to camelcamel.com. Yeah, that's true. I'm not messing with you guys. And that will actually share with you guys price history over time in terms of what the item was listed for. So you can actually use that as a tool. So that's how you analyze deals. And then shipping to Amazon FBA, the best advice I can give you guys is to go watch a tutorial, but it's really, really simple. Essentially what you do is you get all your books together and you get your barcode scanner and you scan them into Amazon, or you scan them into the inventory lab. You choose your price, you choose the condition, and essentially you just list it. And once you list everything into the system, you print off your labels, you stick them on the back of your book, you put them all into a box together, and then you ship them off to the warehouses. So I know that probably wasn't very helpful, but the only way to really show you guys would be like a screen share. But there's people out there who've already made great videos. If you guys haven't already checked out the course my buddy made, Jim, he does a whole entire walkthrough of like everything. Like he goes like a million times beyond exactly everything I'm talking about here. So if you check out the first link in the description, I believe it is rakeandprofit.com/bookselling101. He goes like really, really in depth. He has a whole course. It's like $97, and he's got like 50 or 60 videos. He might even have more than that now. And I'm telling you guys right now, there's no information on the internet that will compare to what he has. I can guarantee you that right now. So definitely check that out. When do storage fees start? There's short-term storage fees, and then there's long-term storage fees. So every month they charge you a certain amount based on like the dimensions and whatnot. And then there's long-term storage fee. It used to be 6 months. I think they changed it. Somebody help me out. When a textbook is one edition out of date, it will still sell just for much less than the new edition. So be careful you're not paying too much for those textbooks. It's true. You definitely want to be careful. Yes, Anthony is saying Rake-In Keepa is also amazing. So yeah, you can use camel.com, or you can use Keepa charts to take a look at the sales history to get a better decision. Anthony says, I was scanning at Goodwill outlets with a scanner who was on the last bin of the books, and I scanned through and made $150. Isn't that crazy? The other day I was actually at my Goodwill, and there's this guy who's always there. And he's so funny because when he goes scanning at my Goodwill, he like, I don't know if he brings a stool with him, or like there's one hidden in Goodwill, but he's always sitting on a stool, and like, he's not like really out of shape or like super old. Like he's like, I don't know, he's probably like 50 years old, good shape and everything. But he sits on a stool and he just scans books. And I literally went right next to him the other day and scanned a book, and it was $80. And it was like a 12,000 rank, and it was all about sign language. Oh, if you're looking for a book that sells well, or a category of books, look for sign language books. Those things always sell really, really well for me. So let me go through and answer some questions. Hey, Steve, here in the UK, the FBA scan app can't be downloaded offline. So would you know of another offline app? FBA scan. Check out FBA scan. That's not free though. Jaylon says, I love John C. Maxwell. Yeah, he's awesome. Definitely enjoying that book. Where's my charger? Hold on one second. I got to get my charger, guys. My laptop's going to die. I'm coming. Don't leave. I'm coming back. I promise. I promise you I'm coming back. I'm going to make you guys some money. All right, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I forgot to plug my laptop in, and it's going to die on you guys. So let me get that back in action. Okay, cool. So yeah, we got 135 people watching live. If you guys are enjoying this so far, do me a big favor, guys, and hit that like button down below. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job, and it also kind of hints that I should make more videos like this. So be sure to smash that like button. Also, I know I can't explain everything to you, so if you do want to learn more, check out the link down below. My buddy Jim Pickens, who he's done well over 6 figures for quite a few years. He actually has a warehouse down the road from me in town, and it's like it's like a 20,000 square foot warehouse. And the guy has thousands and thousands and thousands of books. He does merchant fulfilling. He does Amazon FBA, and he's got a bunch of employees and everything. But the guy is really, really smart. Smartest bookseller I know. So check out that link. Yeah, Anthony is saying, take Jim Pickens' course in all caps. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm an affiliate for the course. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. Like, I get a commission if you go through it. Doesn't cost you any money, but he's selling it for $97. And I was telling him, like, just as a business owner, I'm like, people would pay like $297, $397 for that book. Like, like I've been in the internet marketing world for a while, and courses that good, people sell them for like $9.97. I'm not even kidding. It's so freaking good. And I'm not just saying that, like I'm dead serious, but he won't raise the price. I guess he wants to keep it low. So, maybe I could convince him to raise it down the road, but I'm telling you, it's that freaking good. It's a no brainer. David says, I sent in my first box of 30 books last week and only sold one so far, thinking I priced them a little too high. What was your pricing strategy, David, in terms of, so you scanned the books and you went, I don't know if you're using Inventory Lab or the Amazon, just selling, listing directly through Amazon, which I don't recommend. It's slow. What was your pricing strategy? Were you undercutting people? Were you pricing it the same? Or were you going like 2 or 3 slots over? Let me know what your thoughts are and I can help you out a little better, David. Anthony says, I put the $97 for Jim's course on a credit card and I already made it back. I mean, literally, guys, it takes like 1 or 2 books, like textbooks. Like if you have a Savers in your area or a Goodwill, like you're crazy for not selling books. Like it's just stupid money. Now, I'll be real with you. Like sometimes there's a week or so where I go and I'll scan and I'll look and like I don't find that much. But there are times like today with my mother, she went and found $260 in books. The day before she found $150. And if you guys saw my video where I was like, don't worry about the competition, that was the day she found $150. That was yesterday. She was like, I don't want to go to the thrift store. This Indian couple, they're already headed there because we saw them at Goodwill. And she's like, they're going to take all the books. They freaking missed so many books. So there's like a lot of opportunities out there. How much does it cost to send in a box of books? So it depends. On average, it costs me typically around like 50 cents a book to send it in. So when you're selling via FBA, what you do is you get a box and you put all the books in it and you ship it off to a single warehouse. And like, for example, it's going to depend on where you live. So if like, there were times where I had to ship, I'm in Connecticut on the East Coast. There were times I had to ship all the way to like California. A box that had like, I don't know, 25 books that weighed like 18, 19 pounds. There were times it cost like $18, $20, $21 to ship it. But if I ship that same amount of books to New Jersey, because there's Amazon FBA warehouses all over that you ship your books off to. And sometimes they'll even split up your shipments, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but I actually pay for a placement fee, which is, I forget what it is, like 20 or 30 cents each book. It just kind of takes away some of the stress. But if I ship to New Jersey, it's half the price. So it really depends. If you're in the middle of the country, you're living good. But a lot of times we ship directly to New Jersey and it's really cheap. A box around 40, 50 pounds, it's like 16 to 20. So if I had a box that was like 40 or 50 pounds to New Jersey, it would probably be like 12 or 13 bucks since it's so close. How often do you go back to the same thrift location? It depends which thrift store. The Salvation Army, like once a week or two. My Salvation Army is really going downhill. They changed their pricing structure to 90% off of the price of the book. So sometimes the books are like 3, 5, 10, 12 bucks. And it's like, they don't cycle through their books enough. And I just found out, I was talking to the manager, the Salvation Army, they're actually scanning all their books. Well, let me put it this way. There's a bunch of Salvation Armies in my area, like in Connecticut, like 5 or 6. There's one main Salvation Army that's the distribution center. So like a lot of the inventory goes to this one distribution center. It's this huge Salvation Army. And then they have all the trucks coming. They distribute it to all the smaller Salvation Armies. Well, that distribution center is scanning through a lot of the books and then they're throwing them online. So that is one of the dangers of sourcing primarily through thrift stores. There are a lot of thrift stores who are scanning books, which kind of sucks. But with that being said, this Salvation Army also has 2 ways to get books, either through the distribution center, that big Salvation Army that distributes books, or walk-in. So people that just drop stuff off. They're not scanning the drop off. So there's still opportunities at Salvation Army where I live, but it's becoming a little more limited. And to touch on that as well, the thrift store scanning books, the thing is they're doing it wrong. I want you guys to know that the thrift stores are scanning, they're selling books online wrong. What they're doing is they're putting them, they're selling their books as a merchant on Amazon FBA, and they're really not making that much money. If they learned how to adopt the FBA fulfillment by Amazon, they would probably, like, our business might get hurt a lot more. But the problem is these big businesses are just so slow to implement things. Plus, I just don't think I don't know. I think they want the control. They don't want to give it off to Amazon. So you guys don't have to worry too much about that. How do you price a book when you're the only one selling? That's actually a really good question. So there's a couple ways. If I'm selling as an FBA seller, I'll price it higher than the merchants. So say for example, I like using real life examples. This is a really crappy book, but it's a good book, but like resale wise, it's like a couple bucks. Let's say this book was selling for, well, let's just say there was no FBA sellers, but I noticed that there were 7 merchants selling it for starting at $21, and the rank was like 30, 40,000. So it's a fast selling book. There's a lot of demand for it. And the merchants are like 21, 22 bucks. What I would do is I'd probably price it like $35, $40 since I'm the only seller. So sometimes I'll just guess, but a smarter way to do it is actually to use camel.com or Keepa to take a look at the pricing history to see what other people were pricing it at. You could also use ebay.com to look at this sold listings to see what the books are selling for to get an indicator, but that's probably the way that I would go about doing it. So David is actually going back to because David and Angela said that they shipped off a box of, I think, I don't know, 20 or 30 items and only one sold. They were asking, what did I do wrong? And then I asked them, I said, well, how are you pricing it? They came back and answered that with, I priced them a little higher than the lowest FBA. A lot had good rank, just sent another box today and priced them all at the lowest FBA. Should I always do that? I typically list it as the lowest FBA unless it's a really, really low ranked book. So something that's like sub 100,000. If it's in like excellent condition, sometimes I'll go first, second, third, or second, third, fourth in line. But most of the times I'm matching the lowest price because I want my stuff to move, right? Like if I was 100% full-time bookseller, that's all I did, and I had to squeeze out the profits of each one, then maybe I would price it a little differently. But I just like things moving, guys. I don't want to get hit by the long-term storage fees. I want to keep my inventory moving. Moving inventory is important because it gives you an influx of cash. And sometimes you're dealing with cash flow issues because you have to, 1, pay yourself, but then 2, you have to keep reinvesting back in the business to build your inventory, because that's the key to making more money as a reseller. Doesn't matter if it's eBay or if it's Amazon, thrifting, garage sales. You've got to build up your inventory in general, or you've got to learn how to find items that sell for a lot more money. So Zoe says, I'm getting Jim Pickens' course this week. I'll use your link. So I appreciate that, Zoe. And I forgot to mention, guys, if you do go through my link, I am an affiliate. I am giving away all 3 of my clothing books just kind of as a bonus. Since I'm getting something, I want to give you guys something, even though it doesn't cost you any more money. I'm giving away 101 killer clothing brands, 102 killer clothing brands, and a Blazing Profits training program. So I know it's not like super specific. It's about clothing, but it's definitely a great way to add to your arsenal. And I have a feeling if you like books, you'll like clothing, because books are abundant, clothing's abundant. There's a lot of opportunities. So yeah, cool. Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, David, hopefully that helped. So Red Fern is saying, compare your condition to the other sellers as well. So that is important. Sometimes the seller, like the lowest price, will have a book that maybe they're at like, I don't know, maybe this book's selling for like 16 bucks and it's got a great rank. But then if you dive a little deeper into the condition, you might notice that the lowest 3 are all acceptable, right? Or for example, a textbook. Sometimes textbooks include different bonuses or like CDs or DVDs. If you don't have a CD or you don't have a DVD that's included, you can still list the book, but I would recommend 1, listing it as acceptable, so you're under promising and over delivering, and 2, stating that in the description that it's missing something. So if you do have a book that comes with the bonus or the CD or the DVD, or it's just an awesome condition, you can actually ask more money than the competition. So you don't necessarily always have to be the lowest price, but in general, especially if you're a beginner and you're watching this video, I would just match the lowest price, get things moving. You know, half the battle with selling books, selling clothes, or anything really in general is realizing that it's possible, that it works, that like I could actually make money doing this. Because once you start having some success, you're going to be that much more motivated to go out. But when you're watching a video of some guy you don't even know, maybe you know me, maybe you're watching my videos for years, but there's a lot of people who watch my video for the first time and they're like, this guy's all excited, he's pumped up, like he's full of crap, like this doesn't work. Like, and I get it. Like there's a lot of like nonsense on the internet, but go out there and just like price the lowest you can just to make a couple bucks and build up that momentum because it's possible. I've been selling books for years. I want to know in the comments, guys, right now, have you ever sold a book and made a profit on Amazon? I want you to type in book profits right now. Type book profits if you ever sold a book on Amazon, because there's going to be people watching live right now saying this is nonsense. You can't sell books on Amazon. There's no money to be made. This and that. So I want to know in the comments, guys, is anybody here having success selling books? Do you ever do OA books? So OA is for online arbitrage for the folks who don't know what that is. I haven't done much OA. I have experimented with Caleb Roth's software and other softwares out there, but for the most part, I just enjoy going to the thrift stores. But online arbitrage and sniping books on Amazon and different things like that off of the merchants, like it can be very, very profitable. I think Reezy Resales may have some videos on that. Holy mackerel. Wow. We have a lot of people typing book profits. We got Zoe Byrne typing book profits, Irma Sierra book profits. Nano MB is saying no. So you got to get on your game. Next time I see you, Nano, I want you to be typing book profits. I also want to mention, I'm very lucky. My mother and I and people who live in my area, we're lucky. Why are we lucky? Because we've got some pretty good thrift stores in our area. When I was out in South Carolina and North Carolina, when I was on my road trip, this was a couple years ago, I was having like no success with books. Every bookstore I went to, every thrift store, you could tell that the employees were scanning the books, or maybe there was a ton of competition, but I found nothing. I went to like 30 stores. Where I am, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I'm very grateful to have a very, very awesome Savers thrift store in my area, which we find a lot of books at. And I'm lucky enough to have the highest grossing Goodwill within like 3 miles from my house. So I'm blessed. I'm lucky. You may or may not have the same opportunities that I do. If you live in a college town, if you live near a university, you're going to probably have 5 to 10 times better results than I do. I do have a university near me. It's like 20 miles away. So we still get some of those books. It's UConn. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of UConn. I'm sure you have, the Huskies. But if you live really close to a university, you may have better results than I do. But on the other side of the coin as well, you might not have a lot of thrift stores in your area. So you might not have the same opportunities as I do. So you might have to get a little more creative and start looking at maybe church sales or garage sales or, Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or Let Go. So, Anthony is saying check Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Let Go, and offer up for books too. So, man, we're on the same frequency, Anthony. Philia J says might see you in CT sometime. So you from Connecticut? Where are you from? Div Rahim, what's up, Div? Good to see you. Appreciate the love. I have 5 thrift stores on one street, and there's no cell phone drop off Walmart bins. Wow, 5 on one street. You are living with the thrift store gods, I must admit. Pajama Jam. I would love to type book profits alone, but the books we've sold so far, we've lost a few cents, but I'm not giving up. So Pajama Jam, I want to know, are you selling via merchant fulfill, or are you selling as an FBA seller? And I want to know, why did you lose money? Because you shouldn't be losing money if you're selling books, if you're analyzing the data correctly, right? If you're new, I wouldn't be messing with books that are 2, 3, 4 million ranked that are only going to make you $2, $3, $4. You're wasting your time. If you're new and you're watching this video, you want to go out, you want to download the Amazon seller app, you want to start scanning books that have at least 10 plus reviews that are under 1 million rank, and the FBA sellers are starting at $20 minimum. That's where I would start. Now, you're not going to find those books every day. Sometimes you scan 500 books, you don't find a single one. Other times you scan 10, you find 10. It's a numbers game. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you end up with a crapshoot. You never really know. But when you're new, you shouldn't be losing money because you shouldn't be buying books that are risky. I'm going to put it that way. So I'm curious to know why you lost the money. Big Red's Outdoor Excursions and Adventures. I love that name right there. I think you have the longest name in the history of the Rake and Profit YouTube channel comments. Philia is saying Fairfield County, Bridgeport. So you're probably like hour away plus. I'm over near Hartford. I actually live in Ellington. Joel is saying, hey, Rakin, why have I seen good ranked books around thousands, but have slow ASIN? Trying to understand what that means. Why have I seen good ranked books around thousands, but have slow ASIN? I'm not sure what that means. I'm sending in my first FBA tomorrow with books because of you. That's what I'm talking about, Nano. Let me know, Nano MB, what types of books are you sending in? Are they fiction, nonfiction? I recommend sticking with nonfiction. I've sold very few fiction books. Are they textbooks? Are they business entrepreneur books, self-development books? What type of books are you sending in for your first shipment? I'm pretty curious. Loud and proud, fat and sassy. What a name right there. Holy mackerel. No, but I have been watching you. I think I asked, are you selling books? And they said no, but I have been watching you in Rally Roots. Rally Roots, just met up with them in Tampa. I have some inventory of men's clothes. You guys are both wonderful. Awesome info. Thank you. Cool. So yeah, I mean, you don't gotta go with books. You can go with clothing. You can stick with electronics. For me personally, if you're going to be selling on eBay, I highly recommend clothing. I think clothing is a great way to go full time. It's like probably one of the most untapped markets. Obviously there's things to learn, but I love books for Amazon and I love clothing, especially men's clothing for eBay. So that's just my personal preference. It's different for everybody. Biz West 21. Let me take a sip. Are library sales a good place to get books? Oh, they are. But I do want to say if you have a really, really big library sale, there's a good chance you're going to have the competition there. So I would get there early and I would try to move as quick as you possibly can. Sometimes it's a slaughter fest at these library church sales because pros will come out. I'm talking guys that got like the Chris Green gadgets, like they'll have the scanner attached to their wrist around the little necklace style around their chest area, and like they go hard, like they're moving really, really quick. So some of these guys, I'll be honest, you're not going to be able to compete with them in terms of speed or make more money than them. But what you can do is be selective. So what I would do is if you see a lot of competitors there, I would be strategic and I would try to find where the textbooks are if possible and go directly there. And then what I would do, this is like a little Mama Profits ninja trick. Mama Profits, that's my mother. What she'll do, since she's a little bit older and she doesn't move as quick as some of the younger folks who are doing this business, right? What she'll do, and it's really funny, is she always gets a shopping cart. And what she does when she finds the books, she throws them all in the cart. So sometimes she'll have like 15, 20 books. And sometimes I'll look at the competition and they look over and they're just like shaking their head. But that's how she competes. That's how she's able to gain her edge. And if you've ever watched any videos with my mother, she always goes, I'm not here to make friends. So she's there to make money. I would do the same if you're moving a little slower. If you don't want to be rushed and stressed, go pick the interesting books, throw them in your cart. You could even go hide somewhere and go scan them and take your sweet time. It's a learning experience. It's not a race. It's not a competition against me or the next guy or the next girl. It's a race against yourself and being better than you were the day before. So even if you aren't successful and maybe you find out that books aren't for you in your area, which I'll be honest, I think 90% of the population is going to have opportunities. But worst comes to worst, you say to yourself, this isn't for me, but I learned a great skill. And then you could go use that skill of analyzing deals to maybe retail arbitrage or different toys that you find at the thrift stores or board games or video games. So it's definitely a great skill to learn. The ASIN is, I don't exactly know what the definition is, but the ASIN is essentially a number that, or the ISBN, I think those are two different things. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but they're just a number that you can type in. It's like associated. Let me put it this way. The ASIN is a number that's associated with a specific product. So if you type that number in, you'll find like the listing on Amazon. The ISBN is the number that's associated with the book. I think I explained that correctly. What scanner do you recommend? I actually don't use a scanner right now because I'm not like selling thousands and thousands and scanning thousands of books. If I was, I would be using my Opticon 2006. If I didn't want, like if I was a brand new beginner, I would just use the Amazon seller app. I wouldn't use a scanner. I would just use the iPhone to scan. It's a little slower because you're using the camera. So Div Rahim says, I put things in my cart find a chair in Goodwill and look them up for an hour. So Div Rahim is having fun, taking shots and analyzing deals. Joel Justo, what's up? Or Justo, I'm sorry if I slaughter your guys' names, but Joel, good to see you. I have scanned books that are ranked in the thousands. They have great ranks, but they have slow moving ASIN. Okay, so I think what Joel is saying, and this is actually something really, really great to bring up. Sometimes you'll scan a book and there'll be like a little warning that says slow moving ASIN, or it says something. I forget what it says. What does it say, guys? But it says slow ASIN or something like that. And you might think to yourself, well, Amazon's warning me not to buy this. I should just pass on it. Wrong. Amazon, let me put it this way. Amazon's all about doing what is best for them. So there may be that ASIN notification is probably an indicator that there's maybe quite a few of them in the warehouse. So what they're doing is they're using that, in my opinion, they're using that ASIN notification warning to kind of like say, hey, don't send this in. And I think a lot of people listen to it. But I've seen that ASIN notification on books that were ranked like sub 100,000. So I don't fully listen to it. It is something I take into consideration, but I'm mostly looking at the rank. I'm kind of ignoring the ASIN warning. Now, I've noticed that Amazon tends to go on little weird episodes with this ASIN notification. Like there was like a couple weeks ago, it was telling me slow moving ASIN for like 6,000 ranked book. And I'm like, is the system broken? Like, is this like, what's going on? So I don't fully acknowledge it, but it is something to take into consideration. Elizabeth Frederick, good to see you, Elizabeth, where you're from. Elizabeth says, I started selling at a flea market and sold tons of books. I bet there were resellers buying from me. I guarantee it. If you weren't looking up the prices on Amazon and you were just selling it for a couple bucks or so, or just pricing based on your gut, I bet you people were making money. I've gone to a couple flea markets. I don't know if they're considered a flea market, but like little get-togethers where people put stands together. And I've actually had some good success with books. I've noticed a lot of people with those little reseller stands don't really know what's going on with the books. I've even gone to antique booths and done really well with books. And typically you like have a hard time finding anything profitable at like antique malls and stuff. So books are definitely great over there as well. So I'm not using a scanner personally right now. Kenneth, I do have one, but I really don't use it very often just because it's a little annoying to hook up and stuff. And I move very quick, and I'm more with like the sniping method now. So I don't actually go through, like, say you're at a Goodwill and there's like 1,000 books. I snipe, like I pick and choose. I've gotten very good at just noticing different things, textbooks, certain categories, even like books that just, it's hard to describe, but if they look very colorful or just weird, or like they're really thick or skinny, or there's like a lot of them, like it's hard to put into words, but I'm very good at just sniping. Plus, I'm very good at remembering what books were there the day before or a week before. So I go more of a sniping method. So I don't need to have an actual wireless Bluetooth scanner, but it wouldn't hurt. It certainly wouldn't hurt. I've got the Opticon 2006, but I, for the most part, use my phone. We got the College Picker coming in the house saying weird niche books. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the College Picker, go check him out. We actually just met up recently in Tampa. So congratulations to Eric and Rachel. They got married recently. So everybody say, congratulations, Eric. He's a married man now. So ladies, stay away. If you're going to hit on Eric, unsubscribe right now. He's married. Back off. Sniper Steve. So Anthony is saying in the book selling 101 course, Facebook page, a lot of guys were saying the slow moving ASIN is sometimes a seller app glitch. So yeah, looks like I was correct about that. I think it was glitching up, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Gaming with Peter started with books, but moved to DVDs, later electric, and scan new stuff like ink. And I found $20 profit, around $25. Books are great, but the more you know, you can sell, the more you make. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Like I would recommend when you're first getting started, I would niche down into something. That's what works for me. There's other people who diversify instantly and they do well. For me, when I was on eBay, I went 100% into clothing, and that's how I was able to go full time. And then I obviously, spread my eggs into different baskets with Amazon. I went with books fully. And then there was one time I was doing fully retail arbitrage. So I personally like to niche down at first and then kind of open my horizons. But it really just depends on your personality and what works for you. Um, where can I buy wholesale for eBay and Amazon at best price? I don't really do much wholesale for like eBay and Amazon. Um, because I know you're not looking to, I could already tell based on a question, you're not looking to, well, the best way to do it is what the wholesale formula guys teach, which is building relationships with brand owners or going directly to like the main distributor. But in terms of websites, I know Bulk, BULQ, I think people have had success with that, but I've also heard some bad things. So I don't really have an answer for you, to be honest. Have you ever visited a location twice to source books? I've visited a location 3 times in a day, my Goodwill and my Savers. There were days where I was just bored, where I was trying to create content or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've gone to thrift stores like 3 times, and I know all the people there, so it's like going and hanging out with friends. So yeah, I mean, there were times I've gone to thrift stores twice during the day and found books both times or other products. I'm not sure the time I went 3 times if I found something every single time. Probably not. But yeah, I mean, going twice to a thrift store, like the ones that are near me, like on the way past the gym, past, certain restaurants I visit frequently. Yeah, I'll pop in. Why not? So the KDC 200 is another popular scanner that I know people use as well. Just looking to see if there's any more questions. Some common questions that I got recently that I'll answer from my comments. One of them is, why are some books restricted? Well, certain books are restricted because I believe the brands of these books are getting upset. So I think they're complaining to Amazon, and they're causing them to be restricted. So if the book's restricted, you can't sell it. I would pass on it, but I'm not entirely sure why they're restricted. I just know if it's restricted, then I don't mess with it. What if there is no barcode or ISBN? Well, the cool thing about the Amazon seller app is it actually has a proprietary software which will allow you to scan the book cover. And if you get the right angle, it'll actually scan it and bring back the information. So that's what I do. Or you could just type in the title into the app. What Bluetooth scanner do I use? I use the Opticon 2006. What is the cost per pound that I put into my Amazon seller app as an estimation fee? I put 50 cents per pound. Can you list books from your phone? I think you can. I don't see why you couldn't, but I don't. What kind of books do I look for? I look for textbooks in general, weird books, niche books, very specific tutorial books, horseback riding, sign language, anything odd, unique. I know the College Picker was having some success with the lotting all the Harry Potter books together. Hopefully, I didn't give away a secret, but that's a good little tip for you right there. Mike says, I haven't found a good book at Goodwill in months. Are they hoarding? Depending on what thrift store you're going to and in what town or what state, they might be scanning the books and shitting and selling them on Amazon directly as a merchant. Or you might just have really good resellers in your area, or you might not be scanning a lot of books. If you don't scan a lot of books, you're not going to find much profits. If you have multiple eBay accounts and you get a suspension on one, or all your accounts suspended, I've heard that they link them all together. So I think they will take down like your IP and it might knock them all down, but I'm not entirely sure. It's never happened to me. Knock on plastic that it doesn't. Rakin, can you answer my question? Let's see. There's so many questions. Can you answer that? Because I don't know. Okay, I'm going back. I'm trying to find you. Okay, here it is. When you scan a book, how do you find the price to sell it at? So when you scan a book, and I mentioned this earlier, so be sure to watch the replay because I went into depth. But essentially, when you scan a book, it's going to share with you what other people are selling it for. So for example, I like to price based on comparable sales and comparable prices. So I like to price based on what the market is asking. So when I scanned this book on the app, it told me that there were 15 sellers and the lowest price was $17.10. So I would probably price this book at $17.10 or maybe a little higher since the rank was very, very low, which means it's selling really quick. So I based on what the market is asking. And that's essentially how I do it. Don't fight the market. Sometimes you'll find a book that's selling for like $250. It's happened. Trust me. And you're going to think to yourself, who in the right mind is going to pay this much money for a book? The rank might be low. There may be multiple sellers. There may be indicators of social proof, such as lots of reviews. And you might think to yourself, I'm not going to price it at $250 because that's ridiculous. I'm going to put it at $150. You just took $100 out of your pocket. don't fight with the market. If the market's paying it, give the market what it wants. That's one of the biggest tips right there. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm hanging out with you guys and answering as many questions as I can. Hopefully this video, I want to know in the comments, guys, who thinks that the information that I shared today could help you to make $1,000 a month selling on Amazon? Who's gained some value from this video so far? If you did, I want you to type a 1 in the comments below. Let me know if you guys found value in this content and if you'd like me to do more of this on a regular basis. Okay, so I see a bunch of questions coming in. I'll be sure to get to them. What is the worst condition book you have ever sold? Acceptable. So when you choose a condition, it's either acceptable, good, very good, like new, or new. If there's a lot of highlighting, if there's rips, if the binding is kind of coming apart, then I'm going to go with acceptable all day long. There's one book, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know that like the cover was like just like freaking destroyed. It was like a 5-year-old. I don't know if he was like mad at his parents or he was just bored, but literally he like scribbled all over the cover like crazy. Like it was like something you see out of like a horror film. It was insane. But I scanned the barcode and it was selling for like 60, 70 bucks. So I just sold it as acceptable. I put in a description that somebody wrote on the book. That's an understatement, and it's sold. But I've sold books that the bindings were kind of falling apart. Just be careful selling books that are in really bad condition because sometimes people don't read the description or they don't look at the condition, believe it or not. So it's one of those things. Cool. So we got a bunch of 1s coming in. Appreciate it. Glad you guys are finding value in this. Oh man, the college picker, a lot of 1s. Plastic cups. That's right. Trying to trend more into Amazon, mostly eBay now. Yeah, it just depends. There's so many people moving to Amazon that it's opening up a huge opportunity on eBay. See, most people think Amazon's the new, Amazon's the best, like go Amazon. There's a lot of competition on Amazon. There really, really is. So eBay, I think eBay is a great option right now. And I think it's opening up for the masses. Excuse me. I think the masses are going to Amazon. I think eBay is opening up some opportunities. Opticon 2006, Wanna Actors, or the Amazon Seller app. Do you take photos for Amazon listings or no? No, I don't. That's one of the cool things about selling on Amazon is you essentially piggyback on somebody's listing. If you're private labeling, then you're going to create your own listings, obviously. But for the most part, when you're thrifting, sending in books, electronics, various things on Amazon, you're just jumping on somebody's listing. So you don't have to create your own listing. I don't even know if I've ever created one. We got Jessica Ortiz. And is this the Jessica Ortiz that I know? Is this the Jessica Ortiz that I know, or is this another Jessica Ortiz? Because I know a Jessica Ortiz who is really cool, who lives probably about 30 minutes away from me, but I don't think she'd be watching right now. So Jessica Ortiz might be a common name. But anyways, let me know. Matt Sloan is asking, how many books should I send per shipment and at one time for max profits in regards to shipping cost? So just remember, when you ship something out to Amazon FBA, it has to weigh less than 50 pounds. There used to be a time you could send over 50 pounds and you'd be able to write team lift on the sides of the boxes, which would let them know, team lift with your legs, not your back, so you don't snap some ish up. But now you have to keep it under 50 pounds. So under 50 pounds, anywhere between 15 to 25 to 30 something books if you have a lot of light books. So that's the quantity. And you want me to take into consideration shipping cost. I don't think it's going to depend on, I don't think it matters how many books you send in. It just depends on where you're shipping to. So like if you're shipping to California from Connecticut versus shipping to New Jersey, like the price is going to be much more expensive. So I don't think it matters how many books you put in, but one thing is it's better to ship more books than less, because the more books, it'll kind of lower the price down. So I think I forgot to mention that the more books, it'll kind of lower the price per unit. So if you only ship out 2 or 3 books, it's going to be like $7, $8. So now you're looking at like a $2 average to ship versus if you did 15, 20, 30 books, you get it down to 50, 40, 35 cents. So definitely the more books, the better. Let's see. Nano MB says, I'm at a thrift store scanning as you are talking. You finding anything good? Should I ship with USPS, UPS, or FedEx? Well, if you ship through Amazon, you're going to get a discount shipping through UPS. So if you're going FBA, then I would go UPS. Do you ever ship to Wallingford? Do they have a warehouse there? No, I never do. I've never ever shipped to Connecticut in terms of my FBA shipment. Do a meetup, Steve. I actually just did one like a couple weeks ago. No, I am from the Bronx. Well, Jessica's family is actually from the Bronx as well, which is pretty funny. Is it the Bronx? Yeah, I think it is. Which paid you recommend for fast scanning books? I would just use the Amazon Seller app. If not the paid version, FBA scan. That's what I would use. Do you always go to the UPS store to drop them off? You can actually schedule a pickup, so they'll actually come pick it up. They were trying to charge me for a while because I wasn't shipping out enough boxes at one point. So you can try to get them to schedule a pickup for free. But yeah, a lot of times I'll just drop it off. Archive X, can you help me get some subs on YouTube? That is so hard. I can help you. Everyone go subscribe to Archive X. I don't know what kind of content he has. He has the letter X in his name, so it might be rated R. But hey, it's all on you. What is the lowest price you will buy profit-wise after fees? Probably like a $3 or $4 profit after fees. Sometimes a $2 profit if it's like a really like little tiny book. Like this is like a little Create Space book, The Art of Focus. I haven't read it yet, but yeah, if I get like a little tiny book like this, like I don't mind making a $2 profit if it's like a sub like 20,000 rank and it's going to sell instantly. But for the most part, I'm looking, like I said, for a $5 to $10 profit for bread and butter. Do you feel funny scanning books in front of others? I used to. I actually made a video about this the other day. It was titled, What to Do If Someone Asks You, Are You a Reseller? Because I used to be like terrified of somebody or anybody knowing what I was doing. I don't give a rat's butt anymore. I just don't care. Like I'm crazy. Like I shoot YouTube videos. Like I'm walking around a thrift store like a freak show. Like I have very thick skin now, but when I first started, like I was worried about it. But most people who are staring at you, they're not judging. They're just kind of curious. Like, what is this person doing scanning books? Are they working for the FBI? Only 98. Justin Pac-Man just made a really good point. He says only 98 likes and 143 people watching. What's up with that? Justin Pac-Man, I think people are just, I think people are just busy soaking in all this information and scanning books at the thrift store like Nano M. Have you ever had a book you needed to dispose or send back to you from the Amazon warehouse because it never sold? Yeah, actually, over a year ago. How long ago was it when they changed the they changed all the long-term storage fees and stuff? That was like a year or two ago. I don't know, but I ended up destroying like a couple hundred books because it just wasn't worth it with the fees and the long-term storage fees and like the profit margin. So I had like a whole bunch of them destroyed, like 200-300 products destroyed. Those products were good to send in before the changes. But after the changes, it really wasn't worth it. And I was trying to like run kind of slim on my inventory with more profitable items. So I disposed of a bunch of them. I have had items that were restricted and they were profitable. So I just had them sent back to me. So I've done both. Pretty easy to do through the Amazon dashboard. Usually I sell about, on Amazon, about 25% of my inventory per month. That was the latest that I checked, but it might be a little different now. Hey, bro, I would like to formally thank you for creating these videos. I'm full-time selling books now, and your videos have helped me a ton. So we got Luke mentioning how I was able to help him. So Luke, I appreciate that. That's what this channel is all about. And, I still remember what it was like when I was first starting, and I was so grateful for people who were putting out content. I just love to give back and help you guys out, and it's just a lot of fun. So thanks for sharing that. Definitely appreciate it, man. Here's a good question. She's always flipping Dalkin. What do you think of the morals of reselling? I was told I was disgusting today and selling on thrift store Selling on thrift store stock. Oh man, this is so funny. My mother, she is like so paranoid of people calling her out. And we always play this game. We play this game, my mother and I. We have a very dynamic relationship. But we play this game where I pretend like I'm a customer at the thrift store. And this is just so funny that I'm sharing this with you guys. But we play this game. And just imagine my mother sitting next to me in the car. And I'm like, all right, mom, let's play the game. And she's like, all right, let's play the game. And I'll be like, Mom, what would you do if somebody did this? Excuse me, what are you doing? What are you doing with that phone? And then she would be like, I'm scanning books. And then I would be like, oh, that's disgusting. You're trying to make a profit on thrift stores? Oh, you're just a horrible person. And she'll be like, well, if you don't like it, back off. Like we play these little scenarios because she like is always so paranoid that something's going to happen. But to answer your question, I think that what we're doing as resellers is we're adding value to a particular part of the market, right? I know I'm good at sugarcoating things, but it's true. There are people out there who want to acquire these various books, but they can't find them at the bookstore. So what they're doing is they're going on Amazon to find them, and they're getting a lot of value by being able to just instantly get it shipped to them. Because if there weren't people like you and I going out and finding these items in the crevices of Goodwill and sending them into Amazon, that person, little Johnny boy out in Idaho, who's looking for that book about, how to see clearly now by Dr. Wayne wouldn't be able to read his book, and, kind of making a joke out of it, but it's true. We are adding value to the market. We get paid because we are adding value to the market. How are we adding value? We're finding hard to find items and we're giving access for people to be able to purchase it on Amazon. So, thrift stores aren't out there to supply products to people who are poor. Wow, what a bold statement. It's true. These thrift stores, their number one goal is to make as much money as possible for their causes, right? Now, some of these thrift stores take some profits and then donate some, like Savers. I think they donate like 2% or 10%. I don't know, to like Big Brothers. Don't quote me on that. I'm just pulling facts out of my butt. But I know Goodwill, their main goal is to make as much money as possible for their foundations, for their causes. So they're not there to essentially help people in the community who are trying to get a jacket for as cheap as possible, or how to read a book, or how to get a book for as cheap as possible. The goal is to make money. So I don't feel bad about it because I think when we buy something from Goodwill, we're helping the cause. Plus we're adding value to the market. So I don't know. Was that good? Polish Czech. It's going great, man. How are you? Good to see you in the comments. Anthony, you're so disgusting for reselling. Anthony is really disgusting. Mike H, we are helping the thrift stores clean the shelves so they can list more. Exactly. Yeah, we're supporting the thrift stores like Anthony says. So Daniel has a good question. What is a good rank in the book category? I've sold books that were ranked like 3, 4, 5 million. Not every day, but it's happened. In general, a good rank, I would say, is something under 500,000 is like a really good rank. It's a solid book. It's going to sell for sure. 500 to 1,000, it's good. It's decent. It's not like, wow, like, oh my gosh, but it's good. It'll sell. Once you get to the 1 to 2 million rank, it's starting to become more of a slower, longer tail item. And then once you get to 3, 4, 5 million, it's really, really starting to drag out a little bit. Now, all because a book is 2, 3, 4 million rank doesn't mean it's going to sit for 6 months. If a book is a 3 million rank and then it sells, it could drop down to 500,000 rank. So the algorithm and that sales rank number, nobody really understands it fully. At least I don't. Maybe someone else out there watching does. But that's definitely something to consider as well. Dana says, at what price should you sell your books if they are not worth much, but they have a good rank? Well, it just really depends on your business. I mean, I like to price based on what the market is asking. So if the lowest price is, $9, then I'm probably going to price it around $9. I mean, you could price it at $7 and sell it instantly, but what's the point? If it's a fast ranked book, I would squeeze as much as you can out of it. So, I sell based on what the market's asking. I know this isn't relevant, but how much is it to ship shoes on eBay? How about clothes? It depends. Clothes is going to be a lot cheaper, first class for the most part. Shoes, I use a lot of like priority boxes, flat rate boxes, regional boxes. So it could depend anywhere between 7 to 8 on average, up to 15 for shoes. Clothes, usually $4 to $8. Are newish FBA accounts eligible for the buy box with used books? I know used books are eligible, but I'm not sure how the algorithm plays into consideration the age of the account. So I don't know that answer. Amazon FBA website says prices will change on February 22nd. Do you know anything about that? The prices are always changing. The fees are always going up with inflation every single year, sometimes more or less, but it's the way it goes. Justin Packman, you ever deal with owners' manuals on Amazon? I don't think so. I've sold like little video game guides and stuff. Those actually do well, but I'm not sure about owners' manuals. Are you talking about like the car repair manuals? Because I've done well with those types of books. Joel says a local Goodwill has shut down around my area. Do you ever fear this situation happening to you? Yeah, I personally think, I was just talking to my mom the other day, and I told her, I don't know what's going to happen, but I predict that within the next couple of years, probably 2 to 5 years, something really bad is probably going to happen. That's going to make selling books on Amazon a lot, like much, 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 much harder. I think more thrift stores are going to close down. I don't know about you guys, but in my areas, there have been a lot of Salvation Armies closing down and mom and pop thrift stores closing down. That may be because Salvation Armies run very poorly in my area for the most part. Not all of them. I have some good ones. And some of the thrift stores like Savers and Goodwill, they're just dominating. But I think that it's either going to be a combination of thrift stores closing in my area. So I said to my mother, I said, if Savers or Goodwill closes around here, you're screwed because she doesn't want to travel out 10, 15 miles. So if one of those thrift stores closes, she's in big, big trouble. So that might be the same case for you. The fees, I mean, I was taking a look at some of my profit margins. Like I was looking at my numbers and stuff, and I was looking at my mother's numbers through GoDaddy bookkeeping, and it's amazing. Like if you think of like your overall sales as a pie chart or as like a pizza with like 10 slices, the profit is like one slice. So Amazon, they take so much in fees. Now it's worth it because using FBA is very scalable and you can't get the prices that you can get anywhere else, and shipping prices and everything eats up all your profit on eBay. So Amazon's like the place to go. But if the fees increase much more, or the cost of goods to acquire these goods at thrift stores goes up much more, or if the prices go down, or if the restrictions, like there's a lot of things that could happen probably within the next 2 to 5 years, which could have a dramatic effect on the market. So I don't exactly know. I know there's been a lot of changes on Amazon the last 3 years, which has made it more and more challenging. It has been a good thing though, because I've noticed there's a lot less people scanning books because it's not as easy anymore. So there's definitely a higher barrier to entry. And that's good for people like myself and for mama profits because we know how the game works. But for somebody new, it's a lot more challenging. But I think probably over the next 3 to 5 years, I just have a feeling something really bad is going to happen that's going to make it a lot harder, especially for beginners. If you're in the game now, you'll find a way to adapt. We always do. But I don't know. Those are my predictions. How much are eBay fees? 2.9% on PayPal and 9 to 10% on Facebook's end. Maggie says, came across some vintage Chanel shorts. Best way to sell them. Scared eBay will remove my listing. Yeah, I mean, do your research to make sure they're real. There's different authentication guides on eBay that you can look. There are different Facebook groups you can join, and you can post a picture, and people will kind of give you confidence behind it that it's real. But as long as it's real, I guess you should be fine. I don't sell a lot of I don't want to say sketchy, but high-end brands that are very vulnerable, like True Religion. I'm always kind of scared of it because I can never tell if it's real or not. I'm not the best at authenticating that. Different things like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, it just kind of scares me. Chanel. So just be careful. Do your research. Do you know how I can connect to other resellers in my area? I have started selling, but I have so many questions. That I I hosted one recently, but you just got to keep your eyes open. So I think I'm live. Am I live right now? Let me see. My screen literally just went blank. So, okay, I think I'm there. Okay, cool. FBA confuses me. You can't sell Funko unless you're approved by them, which is understandable, but you can sell them as collectible. Yeah, it's kind of funky. I don't know why. There's certain restrictions that these brands put out in terms of agreements with Amazon. So sometimes you can sell these products new, sometimes you can only sell them used, sometimes you can only sell them as collectible. To be honest, I don't know why it's done, but I just kind of roll with the punches essentially. Is it possible to scale this business model with $100 with books? If you already have a printer, if you already have a computer and a smartphone, you could definitely grow that $100 into 1,000 into 10,000 over a year. Definitely. It's going to take hard work. You're going to have to manage your profits and manage your cash flow, but it's definitely possible. Because there's not a lot of overhead with books, especially. Yeah, I blacked out for 20 seconds. I don't know exactly what happened, guys. I think you guys got to hit the like button. I think there was a warning that came up and it says, if people hit the like button, I'll stay on longer or else I'm going to instantly eject. So I don't know. That's Google Hangouts saying it. So you guys probably have to follow those rules. Do you sell books on eBay? I actually just found 3 books the other day that were restricted on. I was looking over there because I thought I had them on the table, but I don't. They're in my basement. I forgot what they were. I don't know, but they were some type of gaming manuals. They weren't really manuals because they were hardbacks, but it was like a strategy. I don't know. But anyways, they were all restricted on Amazon and they were selling for like 50, 60 bucks each on Amazon. So I bought them. They were only like $2 each and I'm going to put them on eBay for like 70 bucks in a lot. So I do if they are restricted. So that's pretty much the only time I sell on eBay with books. What is the best way to print label to ship to Amazon? You're going to have to get the F and SKU labels. So they're like 30 count sheets, 1 inch by 2 5/8 inches. And you print out the barcodes, you slap them on the back of the book. And then if you want, you can get the 8.5 by 11 adhesive sheets that are like 2 stickers and you can print it off. I like to use a laser printer and just put it on the box and ship it off. Do college books do okay? What kind of books do you like best? Yeah, I love textbooks and college books. They are the best. Just make sure to scan them to make sure that they're not restricted. I don't have a ton of restrictions, probably less than 10% now, but it's possible. Don't know if you saw my other question. If I have more than 100 books as a merchant and would like to FBA, how should I approach that change? Evaluating if it is worth for each book, I guess. That's actually a really, really good question. So if I was in your shoes and I had 100 books and I was selling as a merchant and I want to go FBA, how would I evaluate that? So I would probably start looking at comparing the prices of FBA versus merchant. And then I would start comparing my profits. There's different calculators you can use to see the profits. So if I determined that in general, I wanted to do that, what I would probably do is I would just end all my listings, right? So I would go in and end them all. And then what I would do is I would just ship them all onto Amazon FBA if the profit margins were there. If you're only going to make, it just depends. Like for me, the number one reason to move from merch to FBA would be freeing up my time. That would be it. Obviously, you're going to make more money, but freeing up my time to source more and scale the business. Because when you're a merchant, you have to store the books. You have to pick the books when they sell. You have to ship them to the customers. It's a lot of work. It's a ton of work. People don't realize how much work it is to be a merchant. So, I would just go in and I would start to check some of the FBA prices. They're probably going to be 20, 30% higher. And I would just do it. Free up your time so you can start to spend more time doing what you love, right? Or just going out and sourcing more. Let's see. I'm starting to lose my voice. I'm answering so many questions. I did that, but if I don't ship enough to use up the labels, I waste the rest. It is what it is. Well, what I usually do if I have like only 25 and I waste 5 is I use those labels to like cover up like different barcodes and stuff. Sometimes a book will have multiple barcodes and you always want to cover up the barcode that you're not like labeling over. So I'll use the blank ones to cover up the barcodes. Yeah, FBA is more in fees, but you got to remember, guys, who cares what the fees are? You should be looking at what your profit is. So if I have a book as a merchant, right, and I sell it and I make $4, and the fees are just, I don't know, let's say the fees are 15%. I'm just making up numbers. Let's say the fees are 15% as a merchant and I make $4 profit. Who cares if the fees are 30% on FBA and I make $4.50? I'm making more money. So the fees don't really matter. When you sell as an FBA seller, you make more money. So that's why I go FBA. Now, with some of the lower end books, I'm not a merchant expert, so this might not be 100% expert, 100% on point, but I know you can actually make more money with certain lower end books because the fees are a little higher. So I think for like $8 or $9 books, you can make money shipping. You can make money on the shipping as a merchant, but as an FBA, you wouldn't make money. So, that's something to consider. But great question. Well, not a question. Well, it is a question, but it's more of a statement. Like, what's your time worth? That's what Justin Packman said. And that's why I do FBA, because me personally, I know my situation is different. A lot of you guys probably don't have as hectic of a business as I do with the personal branding and the e-commerce side and all these different things mixing up. But it's hard to have to remember to do a million different things. So not having to remember to pick and pack and ship all my merchant items, that frees up my time. So that's important. So I think that's going to be it, guys. I am losing my voice like crazy. So if you guys like this video, do me a big favor, hit the thumbs up. If you guys want to learn more about selling books on Amazon and you don't want to waste so much time with trial and error and making tons of mistakes, trying to figure things out and watching all these hour videos, you guys, if you want somebody to hold your hand and just teach you exactly how to do it, someone who's already done it, someone who's already gotten the results, go down below in the description. It's the first link. Opt into that. And I'm going to share with you guys a course that my good friend Jim Pickens created. It's called Book Selling 101. And it's a great course. It's not like 5 or 6 videos and you're like, what the heck did I just invest in? I don't even know what to do. This is a full out step-by-step course, step-by-step, everything from beginner stuff to intermediate to super advanced stuff that's way over my head, like setting up triggers and different things like that inside different applications, things that are way beyond what I know. I've gone through the course. It's unbelievable. There's tons of videos, Facebook group. I am an affiliate for it. So if you guys do decide to get it, which again, I stand 110% behind, hit me up, rakeandprofit@gmail.com. If you use my link as an affiliate, I get a commission. Doesn't cost you any more, but I'll send you guys 3 of my best-selling clothing books as a thank you for supporting my channel. And I think he has a return policy. I'm not sure what it is, probably 14, 30 days, I'm assuming. So it's really a no risk. Go check it out, guys. Stop trying to figure out things on your own. For 97 bucks, just go learn it. Find 1 or 2 books, make your money back, and you've got yourself a business. So with that being said, guys, appreciate it. Go out there and crush it. If you have any more questions after this is live, leave a comment below and I'll do the best I can to go in and answer some of your questions within the next couple of hours. But with that being said, guys, thanks so much. And I will see you in the next video. Appreciate it. Bye.